All right, so section 3.2. Here's what it says if you want to follow along. Rules of logical reasoning involve using a set of given statements along with a valid argument to reach a conclusion. Statements to be proved are often written in if-then form. An if-then statement is called a conditional statement. In such statements, the if clause is the hypothesis, the then clause is the conclusion. Kind of like in science, you make a hypothesis first, and then you make a conclusion. Let's talk about this word conditional. You guys have heard the words conditions, right? Like your parents say the conditions for you to go out with your friends this weekend is you have to make your bed, you have to clean your room, you have to eat dinner, and then you can go. Those are the conditions. First must be met, and then something happens. So a conditional statement is often written in if-then form. Let's look at this first example. It's done for you. It says, here's the conditional statement. If this equation, then x equals -3. The hypothesis is simply what follows the if. Thank you. And the then, what follows the then is your conclusion. Notice the if and the then are not written there. Hello. That's okay. Okay, thank you. Bye. No, if you go to the office, please. So notice the word hypothesis, the word if is not written here. The word then is not written here. It's what follows if and then. Let's do one ourselves. Use this conditional statement. If x plus 7 equals 10, then x equals 3. What is the hypothesis? X plus 7 equals 10. Super easy. Don't write if, just write what follows it. Did he shut the door?
Yes.
Okay. What is the conclusion? X equals 3. Good. Pretty easy. That's going to be probably 2 points on a quiz. What's the hypothesis? What's the conclusion? Easy points. Number 1, restate each conditional statement in if-then form. It says, I'll go if you go. What has to happen first?
Them going.
If you go, yes. If you go, bless you, then I'll go. It may not be in the order that you read it originally. You have to figure out what came first. That's the hypothesis. B, there is smoke only if there is fire. According to this sentence, there is smoke only if there is fire. What's coming first? If there's fire. Yep. If there is fire. Don't forget the word then. You got to have if, got to have then. There's smoke. Now, does your sentence have a capital letter? Does your sentence have punctuation? I know that's not a math topic, but I can't let you get through high school and then you get out of school and you write on your resume a sentence that starts with a lowercase letter. You aren't gonna get that job. You understand? Some people have given me some applications for scholarships, and as soon as I see a typo or a misspelled word, trash. That person is not getting a scholarship because they did not spend time doing a good job on their written paper to ask for a scholarship. So it's important we do the small little things. I'm really not the greatest English writer or reader, but I do the bare minimum. I do what's really important, the easy stuff. So let's do that. I'm going to let you do C and D on your own. Read it, write if something, comma, then something. Jeremy, can you read your sentence for C?
If my chores are done, then I can go to the game.
Correct. If my chores are done, then I go to the game. Very good. Samantha, can you tell me what you have for D?
If I'm late, then I miss the bus.
I think I would reverse that because as you read it, it says, I will be late. That's going to happen if I miss the bus. So actually, I've missed the bus first. So if I miss the bus, then I will be late. Okay, so we're kind of learning three things today. Number one, writing statements in if-then form. Practice that 4 times. Identifying the hypothesis and the conclusion. Pretty easy. The next thing is called counterexample. And that's what we're going to work on the next page. This statement in the box might sound confusing. The more we do, the more it will make sense. Let me read it. An if-then statement is false if an example can be found for which the hypothesis is true and the conclusion is false. This type of example is called a counterexample. Then I want you to write this sentence. This might help things make sense. Write this down. If you are in driver's ed, I guess that should be capital because driver's ed is a class. If you are in driver's ed, then you are a sophomore. Is that a true statement? Could that be true for 50 people? Sure it can. How many people would I have to find for it to not be true? It only takes one, what we call counterexample. Can anybody give me a counterexample? Are any of you in driver's ed? You're in driver's ed? Are you a sophomore? Okay. So you fit this. It's true for you. Are you in driver's ed?
No, I took it my freshman year.
She was in driver's ed, but she was a freshman. So Sabrina, write down Sabrina is our counterexample. We want a specific, in this case, person who was in driver's ed, but that was not a sophomore. So let me read the statement in the box again. It says, an if-then statement is false. Ding, ding, ding. Ours was false. If an example can be found for which the hypothesis is true. Sabrina, was that true for you? You were in driver's ed? The hypothesis is true and the conclusion is false. Was this part false?
Mr. Elder told me to come back down soon.
Okay, sounds good. This was false. She was not a sophomore. So there we go. That's what a counterexample is. Number 2. This is a false conditional statement. If 2 numbers are odd, then their sum is odd. I would like you to identify the hypothesis and the conclusion first. Hypothesis, 2 numbers are odd. That doesn't have to be a full sentence because you're just kind of plucking it out. It's okay if you do write it as a sentence. Conclusion, their sum is odd. Now I want you to give a counterexample for that statement. So remember, this part has to be true, but then this part is not. Can somebody tell me theirs?
7 plus 7 is 13.
Okay, so two numbers that are odd. So 7 and 7, those are two numbers that are odd. That is true. The sum, that sum is 14. So that's even, which proves it's a counterexample. Very good. You could say a ton of things. You could say 9 and 3. Those are both odd, but their sum is not odd. So your answer, your counterexample is just the two numbers that are odd. And when you look at those two numbers, you notice, oh yeah, their sum is not odd, so that's a counterexample. Let's do some more counterexamples. 3 through 8, I'm going to let you try it by yourself. Here's the directions. Is the following conditional statement true? If it is true, write always true. If it is not, write a counterexample. No sentences. Always true or a counterexample. Bless you. Number 3. If it is a bird, then it is a red bird. Always true?
No.
No. Ian, do you have a counterexample? Blue jay. Or an eagle. Or a swan. I think the swan is technically still a bird. Right? Okay. Do you guys know bats aren't birds? I was baffled the first time I heard that. They are mammals.
Yeah. Didn't know that.
They sure look like birds.
Yeah, feathers.
Well, still. They look like birds. They're creepy. I don't know.
What birds have
Platyp-
application?
Platypire birds have eggs. They lay eggs.
What birds
What bird
have
has
eggs?
teeth? What bird
I don't know. Number 4. If you are a girl, then you play basketball. Always true?
No,
No. Who has a counterexample?
they can play volleyball.
Okay, so give me a specific person. Serena Williams. Some of you might be able to say yourself, if you're a girl in here who does not play basketball, then you can write your name down. You can say myself. We want a specific person. Try not to write a sentence like, there could be a girl who does not like basketball. I might take that because you know what you're talking about, but you want a specific example, counter-example. 5, if you are at HHS, then you are a sophomore. Always true? No, what's a counterexample? Freshman. You could give a specific freshman. Give a specific person. Freshman would be specific enough because they are a person at HHS. Serena Williams is a girl. A blue jay is a bird. 6, if you play baseball, then you play a sport. Always true?
Yeah.
Always true. 7, if today is Monday, then yesterday was Sunday.
Always true.
Always true. Even on a leap year?
Yeah.
Still true, yes. If you like coffee, then you like tea. Always true? No. Who can share a counter example?
My brother.
What's your brother's name?
Cole.
Cole. Cole would be an example. Try not to say, somebody said, what did they say last time? I can't remember. Make sure you give me somebody who likes coffee. I think they gave me an answer of like water or something like that. So it's got to be, in this case, a bird, a girl, a person at HHS, somebody who likes coffee, but then the last part's not true. Questions on counter example. Okay, last one. Circle. Don't look at your partners. Do it yourself. No peeking. Circle all the appropriate counter examples for the following statement. If it is a sport, then it has a net. Hey, yourself. Very rarely do people get these correct. A lot of you are getting them correct.
I don't think pencil is a sport. Or house.
Real estate is a sport.
Isn't house like a game of cards?
Yeah.
I don't think she needs.
We're not going with that.
Real estate is a game.
We're done already? Okay. So I need to find, for a counter example, this has to be true, but then this has to be false. So if it's a sport, then it has a net. Is basketball a counter example?
No.
Basketball, it's true for basketball, so not trying to be a counter example. Is volleyball a counter example?
No.
No, because it is a sport and it does have a net. Is golf a counter example?
Yes.
Yes, because it is a sport, but it doesn't have a net. That makes it a counter example. Pencil, but it doesn't have a net. It's got to be a sport. Good. Hockey,
It has the nets for the goals.
it's true. It's a sport. It has a net. Swimming,
Yeah,
yes, that is a counter example. House,
no,
not a sport, so we don't care. Hairnet,
this isn't even sport, but it has a net.
is hairnet a sport? Nope, so we don't care. 2 of them. That completes your notes for today.
Real estate.